Very exciting times ahead because I'm going to do a maintenance session on this 120p aquarium built by the aquarium aquascaping legend Long Tran Hoang from Vietnam.
I think it's perfect.
Based on his instructions. Welcome to the beautiful world of aquascaping. We have a couple of maintenance videos on this channel. If you guys want to see how a maintenance session looks on other aquariums, check out the playlist link below. I always start with an assessment. So what's happening with this aquarium? There's the algae. It's at the top where the light hits these rocks, which are actually overshadowing the Helantium tenerum red, which looks very green in this aquarium. I probably need to trim that a little bit. I need to definitely get rid of this algae at the top, which is going to probably come back in a couple of days, but what can you do about it? Probably tidy up this space a little bit. Other than that, I can see some overhanging roots. This is the Marsilea. At that point, I can immediately see lily pipes needs a lot of cleaning. Good news is that I asked Long to tell me what he wants to change. It's a very, very simple guide. I just need to do 4 things. Number 1, create a zigzag shape made of the ADA Kumu stones. He also wants me some moss and some Anubias mini coin to break that line. Number 2, there's an opening, a gap below this rock right here. He didn't like the fact that there's white background visible behind it. Number 3, he wants to add a little bit of moss and plants on this layer, and he also wants to have something in here in the back. And number 4, which I completely understand, and if you've seen the workshop video, he told us that he really likes this this microzorum, which is actually originating from Vietnam. He wants this to trim the vertical part of it so that the horizontal lines are continuing with the lines of the rocks. I'm going to make it. I'm going to send the end result to Long, and I hope he's not going to come up with new ideas and he's going to tell us that it's okay, Balazs, don't worry, you did a good job. We'll see what's happening. I always start by stopping the filter. We have the big Eheim Professionel 1200 underneath this aquarium, which is actually running with about 60–70% with this lever. And I was told by the Eheim lead engineer many years ago that this does not change the performance of the filter in any way. It does not do any harm for the pump. And before I stop it, I need to stop the CO2. I don't want the reactor to have gas in it, because if I leave this on, the reactor will be filled with CO2 gas, and when I want to restart the filter later on, I'm going to have issues. And then I can start working on the lily pipes. And I made a mistake, okay? Before you do this, make sure you don't break the top, the skimmer part. Second, you need to have your clamp ready. Corpus delicti. This is gonna be the don't do this at home video, will it? We have a container filled with water mixed with ADA Superge. I'm gonna leave this there until the end of the maintenance session and then remove it, and you guys are gonna see how pristine clear it is. Mistake number 3. Make sure that you always remove the suction cups before you submerge it. Otherwise, you probably need to replace it, or they're going to become white and ugly. I need to remove this unholy mess from the top. The water is quite steady here, so the ammonia is not being taken away from this particular spot. So that's why we have this issue. What I will do is actually put some moss, and that moss is going to kill the algae which is below it, hopefully. Okay, some of these leaves growing immersed are browning. Ta-da! I fixed it. No, I replaced it. There's the Marsilea that is running away. So this comes out, or you can actually put this somewhere else. ADA tool bag. It's a cool little thing, and you have everything there. See? There's a lot of attention to detail when it comes to fine tweaking an aquarium. One detail is to prevent these plants from growing into the others. There are some times when mixing plants is desirable. This is not the case. And then we can start trimming. You see these vertical microzorum leaves? Those need to go one by one. Helantium tenerum red. For me, this is just too much. It removes the tidiness and the order from within the aquarium, and it gives a lot of vertical lines to this whole layout, which was not intended by the creator. So the foreground is kind of neat now. It looks much tidier. I know tidy means, for some, means less natural. Before I start planting, I will remove some water. What should you use for a water change? First of all, you need a good pump. I would recommend something which has at least 2,000 liters per hour. We prefer to use, for many years, the Eheim compact on pumps. What can you use this pump for? You can use it for two things. If you have a large aquarium and you want to drain the water really fast, you can just put a hose on it, submerge it, plug it in, take out the water really quickly. Second reason, if you want to take the water from a very distant barrel, the reverse osmosis RO filters barrel, into your aquarium. The second tool after the water pump that I used is the double tap. It's good for draining the water without a pump. So these taps can be mounted together, so this is good for joining hoses as well. The second solution would be a simple tap, a normal tap. Two of these will cost more than one of this. Ideally, you don't want to drain a tank, even a bigger one, with a hose 16 by 22. It's just too much. So what you're going to do is you're going to restrict this, and then you have a restricted flow. This is actually the end of the green aqua drainage hose that we use with an Eheim simple tap. I'm going to put this to the end of this. This one is filled with air, but this one is filled with water already. Okay, the other tap is open, and what I need to do is I need to stick this in, and then I open the tap, and gravity will actually pull out everything that I touch. You only use the pump when you want to finish very quickly. We need time right now. This is why you need the flow restrictor, and this is why you need the 12 by 16 hose. So actually, when I stir up moss, there's a lot of mold coming out of it. Okay, I'm not taking any more water, so I'm closing the tap. As you saw, I'm draining the hose, and then never ever throw this down like I did a couple of times. You're gonna break this. As per the instructions of Long Tran, I have the ADA Kumu layout materials, and I will use the combination of these to create a little bit of detail in the foreground. I will start with the bigger ones always. Right now you see that this is grayer and lighter in color than the old ones. Worry not, with time this is going to look the very same. This is more like, say, Ryuoh, the Ryuoh stone, and I will use the smaller ones to create the zigzag. And then we need some moss. I will use my special stealing skills, and who better to invade as Tommy's creation, his 60p aquarium. So let's go stealing. Very beautiful Ricardia. Actually, I can remove some of these, and I could glue them onto these top patches. This is Rotala indica, the same plant that you see here. The difference is quite considerable. It will get reddish, different leaf shape, much smaller leaves. I will put this behind here, not covering it completely, but it will cover it completely. We need to glue these spots with different plants. We have these pieces that will just jump in there and add detail. Let me see if the ADA Super Magic has worked its way on this. Oh yes, check this out. All I need to do is to bring this and rinse it under the tap. So I'll be back in a second. The glasses are clean. No trace of algae. It still smells a little bit of chlorine, which I'm not happy about. Actually, this smelled of chlorine. And I asked the maintenance guys and they told me that I should go back and rinse it until I don't smell it anymore. The top that I fixed. So you see how much detail I put in and how it helps the whole aquarium layout? All that remains to be done is to fill it up, start the filter. There's one more thing that comes with your Eheim filter. A filter guard that would guard your shrimp and fish from being sucked in. Just hang it on and drain it. How convenient is that? This is actually the pressure side hose of Eheim. Hang it somewhere where it could flow onto the rocks so you don't stir up the substrate. Open the tap, and if you have the Eheim pump on the other side, then the water is going to start flowing into your tank and you don't have to do anything but watch it. And I'm dead serious. Watch it. I don't know one aquascaper who has not flooded his or her home at least once in his lifetime or her lifetime. There's one Anubias afloat. I'm going to push it in next to this Ricardia, and with that we are done. Thank you, Long Tran, for giving me instructions on how to improve your tank. I hope you like the changes that I made in about probably 2 hours. Every tank has a life cycle. You need to think about it, you need to sleep on it, you need to add more details and then more details and then more details, and it will get better every day. Let me know what you think. Goodbye, guys. Take care.